What's good? Welcome back to another edition of Dat Talk Podcast. I go by the name of Big and I got my co-host with me.
What's up, baby? Yeah, man. Basketball, it is hot. It is hot in these basketball streets. We got the draft, free agency, trades. Man, let's get to it, man. Too many reasons in the building.
Yeah.
This is so much in a jam-packed show, man. Let's boy.
There's a lot of stuff going on, man. A whole bunch of stuff going on. Let's focus on a few things that happened over these past few days. You got my man Chris Paul going to Arizona, the Jets, to play for the Phoenix Suns. How do you feel about that trade? They not only did they get Chris Paul, but they got rid of gave a lot to OKC. I ain't gonna hold you. I was excited about the trade until I seen what's my man Oubre. Oubre had an amazing season, and I felt like that with those four, it would have been solid. Giving away Oubre could have been heartbreaking for Phoenix, in my opinion.
I'm gonna agree to disagree.
Okay.
Because you got to think about it. In the bubble, Oubre wasn't there.
Right.
They did a lot of their damage in the bubble to kind of propel them to a team that people just have to start respecting. So when you look at kind of what they did, and when you add a proven winner, everywhere Chris Paul goes, he wins. It hasn't translated into finals appearances and conference finals and stuff like that. But when he shows up to your city, your likelihood of going to the playoffs increases exponentially. So I'm going to tell you right now, the Suns are a playoff team. We're going to just start there. They in. I don't know who out. They in. Besides health, and, I'm just saying, fully healthy, Suns is in. Because Chris Paul allows Devin Booker to be a two-guard with playmaking ability. Chris Paul gets the ball out of Devin Booker's hand. Chris Paul sets the table for Devin Booker to succeed, and he's going to make DeAndre Ayton an even better center than what he's projecting and becoming to be.
I see that.
So when you swap Chris Paul for Ricky Rubio, a guy who has a proven clutch gene, a guy that, barring any health issues, is going to be there night in and night out, a leader or floor general, you are putting yourself to set yourself to be a playoff team, along with having a veteran coach of Monty Williams. I just think that starting five of Paul, Booker, Bridges, Johnson, Ayton, and you got Aaron Bynes coming off the bench, and you got Jerome Carter coming off the bench. You got pieces.
Okay.
That can compete. Championship team, I ain't gonna go that far.
But playoff team, you already going and saying they're gonna make the playoffs this year?
I feel like who they not better than? To me, on paper, they better than Memphis. They better than Portland.
Man, that's better than Portland already? That's crazy.
Yeah, because I feel like the combination of Chris Paul and Devin Booker is better than CJ and Dame. Chris Paul is not too far off from Dame. Dame at this juncture in his career is a better scorer, but Chris Paul can still put up buckets and still lead in assists. Booker is better than McCollum. It's not a wash. It's not an even. Give me Book over CJ McCollum any day of the week. 5 days a week. You can do 7 if you want to be freaky on the weekends.
That's a good debate right there. It's Devin Booker better than CJ McCollum or vice versa. That's a big debate that we're gonna have to ask our viewers. How do they feel about that? Look. D Book is a problem. He's a very offensively sound guy, right? His thing that he lacks is a little bit on the defensive side. He's got to improve on that to be a all-around player. But when it comes to offensive game, he has a whole bunch of tools in his tool bag, and he can hit you from different spots of the court, from long range, from short range. Pull-up game is crazy as well. The man has done a lot of things, especially in the bubble. You saw the potential of a D book. I think Chris Paul is going to help provide a more of a leadership role to the Phoenix Suns. I think that's what's going to be the differentiation factor from him and Rubio. Now, when you compare Chris Paul to Dame Lillard is a specimen. And let's not get it twisted, man. He did some things in the bubble. He was Bubbles MVP. And the man at this juncture of his career, he's a very more offensively score sound player than Chris Paul, just because his age. He's younger. We know it. He's younger than Chris Paul. Chris Paul is at this tail end of his career, and he does what he needs to do, but he's going to provide a leadership. He's going to provide that mentorship and that mindset of winning. I think he gives them that edge. But as far as like ability, Chris Paul still is a step behind when it comes to certain ability. He can go out there and get it, but it's rough. It's rough. Chris Paul showed me some flaws in his game when he played against Houston. When he had to go get a bucket, he just didn't have enough in his tank. Like
he had that gear. He didn't have that gear that he used to have.
He didn't have that gear. It was like in 2K, he was getting guarded by centers. His acceleration and speed was that low that a center that made about 6'8" paint beats was able to stick with CP. That's what it was looking like in the bubble for my man. But he still can definitely provide a leadership, and he can help them on an offensively sound and mental toughness style of team. I think that's going to help him with Monty Booker as the head coach as well. I think it's going to be Monty Williams, my bad. Monty Williams is going to be really, really good fit for CP. But we will see. I still think they should have kept Oubre. I really feel like Oubre would have been solid, man. That would have been he would have been a great defensive guy. Because right now, where I think they holes is the defense. Who's going to be the defense? I got
who? I got Bridges is going to be their perimeter guy. I think I feel like D Book, because you got to think about it. When you're able to get a guy like Chris Paul to take the ball out of your hands, you got to think because D Book averaged like 25 and 8. And, so that means the ball was in his hands a lot. He was having to create for not only himself, but others. Right. So you know how it is when you come in as a scorer, that's all you're going to be looking to do. You're not going to be playing much defense. When you get a guy like Chris Paul that can handle the rock, which takes some of the pressure off you offensively, you tend to want to play defense a little bit more because you're not shouldering all that weight of creating and scoring and doing all that. Kind of like the James Harden kind of syndrome type thing. When you doing so much offensively, you ain't going to be giving a lot on the defensive end. We just going to call it for what it is. Okay. So with Chris Paul, I think it allows him to go become not an elite defender or nothing like that, but play defense at a tad bit more at a higher level because
he more energy. Put it that way.
Yes, sir. You can put more energy into the defensive side.
Because I get it. You got to reserve yourself because you're a focal piece on the offense. So it's hard to do both ways. It's hard to do both ways, or whatever the case may be. But on to some more trades, man. I thought that the Lakers was going to get the Chris Paul and LeBron James and AD, but they wasn't ready to pick up the tab. You know how you go to dinner and you be like, look, I'm gonna pay for dinner, and you see that bill, you're like, hold up. See, what happened was I thought we was just getting like appetizers, but you got steaks, lobsters, wine, all kind of stuff, and this bill is a little bit too pricey for me. So we gonna go to Applebee's and get a 2 for $20 real quick, and I got you on that. So they got Schroeder, who can be a nice little point guard. Now, does this mean Rondo's gone? That they got Schroeder?
I would say this means that they feel that Rondo is gone, just because. Technically you can have them both. I don't see why you can't have them both. But I think they did this as a protection plan, as if Rondo is leaving.
Gotcha.
When you look at Schroeder, he was a runner-up for Sixth Man of the Year.
Yeah.
He averaged 18.8 points. He shot 39% from three. I think he shot 43% from the field. Mm-hmm. He was on a playoff team out there in OKC with that 3-guard lineup with him, CP, and Shea.
Right.
So he is what you want him to be. My thing is what will they do with him?
Right.
Because I believe this is because we've talked about this. We talked about this, me and you. We've talked about this with Mark. This would be the situation where LeBron says, you know what? I've already proven I can lead the league in assists.
Right.
I've already proven that I can lead the league in points. Now it's just about proving I can win most ships.
Yeah.
This is where he goes and be off the ball a little bit more and let Schroeder kind of run the show. Not fully. They can kind of tandem the situation. But it can preserve him for the season where he ain't got so much ball handling. He ain't got to create every damn thing. Longevity.
Right.
The Lakers offense a different feel. And
they already said that they're running. AD supposed to be the team. Supposed to be AD team now. Supposed to be. So maybe we see a different Lakers mindset, Lakers team. And you got to think about it. It's hard to repeat. So we're going to see how they're going to come out the gates. They still got some pieces that they're working on trying to get. Here's my thing with Schroeder. I like Schroeder offensive game. He's very offensive. He can come in scoring spurts. He can do that. He can get you from left, right, whatever way. I love that about him. But I really like Rondo better than Schroeder because Rondo does a little bit of everything. He may sacrifice a little bit of the scoring, but he got the defense tenacity. He's gonna play those tough plays. He's gonna be an elite defender, a wing defender. He can stick the point guards. He's gonna make it tough for people. And his veteranship, I like Rondo as a Laker. And you can see, no, he can't shoot the ball consistently, but he was working on his game. I really feel like Rondo should have stayed, but I think Rondo's probably going to go and get a bag now or go somewhere else. My thing with Schroeder is, I don't know. I feel like he would be a great Lou Will for the Lakers. Come off the bench, get some buckets. That's how I feel Schroeder should be, in my opinion, because he was a scorer. He wasn't the quote unquote, when he had the ball in his hands, he was the offense. He was looking to score 95% of the time or whatever. He wasn't looking to distribute and get people involved to the degree. That was Chris Paul's job. Chris Paul was doing that. Schroeder was more of the scoring guard. Chris Paul was more of the get the team involved guard. And I don't know if Schroeder's going to be able to bring that over to the game. I think that's going to be critical, like you said, reasons. How are they going to utilize Schroeder? Because offensively, he's great. He can come and give you points and spurts. I think he's great at that. But when it comes to other things that you need, tangibilities that you're going to need to help get AD better shots, to get Bron better shots, can Schroeder do that? That's my thing.
I believe he can. And what happens is now we got a guy that other teams' point guards have to guard. So I think his intangible comes in because now teams have to guard him. Like we just can be real. You don't necessarily have to guard Rondo. So that's why he was able to get open looks and, knock down threes and do stuff. And then, Rondo still got a little savviness to him. And, but now you got to go guard our point guard. It ain't going to be no nights off with Schroeder out there. Dame ain't just chilling and, he got to go guard because if you don't guard, Schroeder can hit you. He can get you 20 to 25 and you be like, ooh. And he's a solid catch and shoot guy. So when LeBron has the ball and we looking for double teams, you know how it's like, oh, we'll live with Rondo shooting. And Rondo made you play in the buck. But for the most part, they would live with it. Because they like he's not consistently going. I don't think you're about to just continue to live with Schroeder shooting open jump shots.
No, I get that.
So again, I personally, as a fan, I would like them both. Get the best of both worlds.
Yeah, I think if you had them both, that'd be solid. But I don't think you're gonna be able to keep both. Yeah, the direction and the way they're trying to go into, especially with trying to move and get some other plays like Wesley Matthews and some other.
That's who. Listen, give the Lakers Wes Matthews. Give the Lakers Ibaka. Be a parade in LA. Let you know right now. I don't give a damn what Brooklyn do. I don't care what the Warriors do. I don't care what the Bucks do. You give the Lakers Wes Matthews and Ibaka. Call it Saran because it's a wrap.
Already
barring health.
Call
Call it Saran.
But we should see what other moves. We know free agents coming this Friday or whatever the case may be. But let's talk about some other trades that went down. My man, we just said it. We said it last week, or what was it, 2 weeks ago? When was the Pelicans? 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks
Pelicans,
ago.
2 weeks ago. We said, I think they're going to get rid of Drew Holiday.
We talked about it.
And what did they do yesterday? They got rid of Drew Holiday. They got rid of Drew Holiday, and they also picked up my man from the Sacramento Kings. What is it, Ron Bonabit? What's his name?
The Bucks picked him up, right?
The Bucks picked him up. What's his name?
Oh, that's Bogan Bogdanovic.
Bogdanovic. I'll be getting the Ron Donovic and Bogdanovic and Drew Holiday is going to the Bucks. How do you feel about that?
First, let me ask you this. When you look at the trades for AD and for Drew, who do you believe gave up more? The Bucks or the Lakers?
I didn't see who the Bucks give up. I just saw the highlight.
So the Bucks gave up Bledsoe, Hill, and 3 first-round picks. The Lakers gave up Lonzo, Ingram, Hart, and some first-round picks.
I don't know. It could be a tie to a degree. 3 first-round picks is good. But it all depends on the drafts. I mean, the picks that's coming out the draft, right? Getting Lonzo, Ingram, Hart, and all those, and some first round picks. Those are some guys that's in the league that's got bright futures. Bledsoe is, yeah. So, and George Hill, we know George Hill at the end of his career. I say the Lakers gave up the most because they had a lot of younger gems that could have manifested some great superstars or all-stars like you see Ingram doing in New Orleans, could have been in LA, right? Now with the Bucks, they didn't give up too much. They just if the only thing they really gave up was the draft picks. But here's the thing: we don't know if how many draft picks were considering this round? Just one or two? How many? One first round this draft. We don't know what's next year's draft going to look like because we don't know how the season's going to be. It's going to be hard to draft. And then the following year, we don't know. We still don't know, right? But here's my thing is I think the Lakers did because they gave up a lot. They gave up a grip. First rounders and Lonzo, my man Hart and Ingram. That's tough.
So let me ask you this. The Lakers draft haul turned into what though?
The Lakers draft what?
Yeah, so the Lakers, what they traded for AD turned into what for the Lakers?
It turned to a championship.
Now, can this trade turn Milwaukee into a ship? Because to me, whatever the Lakers gave up has been put out and paid for right now.
Yeah, they got the chip. They did what they needed to do. Yeah, you're right.
So to me, the only way this trade looks good is if the Bucks are in the finals and or Giannis resigns. Because if they're not in the finals and Giannis don't resign, to me, the Bucks gave up more.
For real?
Yeah. Just because with the Lakers, giving up more still has to have a return investment. The Lakers' return investment became a championship right after the trade. It was not like we waited 3 years for it and 4 years. It was trade for AD, go win a ship.
I don't think Giannis not going to resign if they're getting these people. That don't make sense.
But has he resigned?
No, but I think
Supermax is sitting there right now. I'm saying the Supermax is sitting there right now. If you questioning whether you're going to resign or not,
he's dependent. Look, I'm not signing nothing until I see that y'all actually trying to create a team that's going to be able to compete. I get what he's doing. It's leverage. I'm not going to sign no deal until somebody say, look, either we're going to get a team or I'm going to another location or whatever the case may be. And so what I think he's just waiting and they're making moves. Drew Holiday is a great 2 combo guard. Play defense. He can provide scoring and he can do a lot of things for Milwaukee that Eric Bledsoe just can't do. His liability was defense. We know that. And he couldn't shoot consistently. And if he wasn't getting to the paint, he was a liability on that floor. He's not a great point guard as far as like getting people involved to the degree, but he gets people involved when it comes to the dribble drive, which is simple basketball. But how do you get people in the right places when they need to be? How do you make that pass where on the money instead of looking for your shot? And so I think Bledsoe, again, he was never a guard. I think a lot of people got to understand we put these players that ain't never really been an actual true point guard, and they're more like scoring guards in the point guard, and we hope that they can manifest into both. And so he just haven't. And so I think that was a good trade. Good trade by the Pelicans. Now, I don't know what they're going to do with Bledsoe and George Hill.
Well, I mean, you basically start Bledsoe at the 2.
No.
That's what they're going to do.
He's not starting.
Who's going to start then?
I think Melo, Ingram, Zion. Who else was I missing on that team? Oh, he could play 2. I don't know. I don't know if he'll start, though. They may shop him.
They're going to start him because then you got J.J. Redick, George Hill, and Hart off your bench.
They may shop him, though.
They could.
They may shop him. To be honest with you, I feel like they could shop him, maybe keep George Hill as a veteran player, but I think they could shop Bledsoe. They could shop him.
It's a possibility. I wouldn't knock that situation. But like I said, when I look at Milwaukee problem, and we was gonna get into this once we got to Milwaukee. Milwaukee issue isn't necessarily the roster; it's the system. If they still gonna put the ball in Giannis' hands and have him try to be a point center, then it's point center.
Yeah,
they're still going to struggle because their offense has no creativity, and in a playoff series, it can be locked up because we are coaching to stop you. Versus during the regular season, we got back-to-backs, we got this, we got that. It's a lot of smoke and mirrors, and that offense looks good.
Right.
But if they don't switch up this offense, it's not going to matter. Whether you got Bogan, Drew, Phil, Mill, it don't matter. Their offense systematically is flawed. They have to fix that. They have to move Giannis off the ball, let Drew be the creator, run more pick and roll with Giannis.
Both creator too. He's a creator.
You run more pick and roll with Drew and Giannis. Let Giannis be the role guy, which puts him in a situation what he want to do. He want to get to the basket. Then when they collapse, now Giannis' passing ability to kick out to corner shooters like Brook Lopez, like Bogan, like Middleton. Now the defense ain't sit there doing the compact to stretch situation. They are moving and rotating, which is allowing more open three-point shots. So in my head, this trade could be good. But if Giannis is still the point center, Bucks ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, I think hopefully this offseason, Giannis develop a consistent 15-footer. I think he would be unguardable if he can hit that 15-footer consistently, right? Because then he can work to the post, through the post, right? Square up, 15-footer. Tim Duncan was the king at that. That's what made him so lethal. Like Tim Duncan, people always think you got to shoot threes. No, you don't. No, you don't. Just be able to shoot consistently from where you gonna shoot at. You get what I'm saying? You don't always, if you can shoot a 3, that's even better. But I feel like Giannis should start to mold his game to a degree when it comes to the shooting aspect as a Tim Duncan. Work on the backboard. Work on that 15-footer turnaround face shoot. That's an easier shot than a 24-footer three-pointer. You get what I'm saying? If he can shoot that consistently and then develop a post game, man, bro, what you doing, man? You been tired? You got the yards and stuff. Look, if he could do that consistently and develop a post game, that's what made KD another level. That took KD to another level. Was that little post game, his post work. If Giannis the man is 7 foot. Now he becomes unguardable. He becomes a walking demigod. He can be a downhill guy. And now you want to play half court? Good. Get me in that post. I'm gonna hit you. Either hit you with a nice up and under, Kareem dream shake. Oh no, I'm gonna square face, jab you off the backboard, or nice little 15-footer. That will make them a super threat in the East because he's stronger than KD. He's damn near one of the strongest players in the NBA. So that what makes him hard for to be guarded because now he got a consistent 15-footer. That's why I tell Ben Simmons, you don't have to shoot the three, be able to shoot a 15-footer. I don't give a damn about these analytics, okay? Because not all these analytics is going to result to championships. Analytics is just numbers. You still got to go out there and you got to produce. But I tell people, look, Giannis, if Giannis develop a 15-footer consistently, the Bucks can go to the championship. Because nobody is stronger than him. His issue is his offensive flaws, gets him in trouble because he gets a lot of charging penalty. It's a lot of power. And so we're going to see how these trades end up helping out. Drew Holiday, I feel like, is a great pick. He can provide a little bit more scoring than Eric Bledsoe, and he can provide better defense as well. And then Bond, he can do a little bit of both. He can shoot that thing. He can create, and he can get people involved. So I think that's going to be a good fit for Milwaukee. I know Giannis haven't signed. I think they got to make some additional more picks, maybe some things for the bench to come off the bench players.
Yeah, only thing they can sign right now is minimum contract. So they got to find a bunch of guys who's willing to play for pennies on the dollar and for the NBA money.
I think that you could. Just depends on if you have a potential chance to go win it all or get to the finals. But on what other trades? That was the only trade. That was the only big.
Robert Covington traded from Houston to Portland for Trevor Ariza and this year's number 16 pick and a 2021 pick for the Rockets. So the Blazers get Covington, the Rockets get Ariza and 2 first-round draft picks. How do you feel about that?
I don't know. That's one of those that I really don't know. I feel like they both have similar styles to play. They're 3-and-D guys. That's just what they are. They're 3-and-D. Play defense, shoot threes. They're not really. Ariza could create a little bit back in his prime, but he's getting a little bit older. So it's pretty much out there to shoot threes and play perimeter defense. And Covington, you know what he is. He shoot threes and play perimeter defense. He helped a little bit with the inside, but they showed it when you play against a dominant inside presence, it's no match. So he's pretty much going to be a perimeter guy and a three-point guy. I think he can help the Blazers out. I think that's a good pick for the Blazers. Younger dude's going to do his numbers. He's going to do what he needs to do. I don't know if he's going to start. I think he may come off the bench, or they may start him and they may have Melo come off the bench.
I think you starting. I think they're going to go to like a small ball, but with a big lineup. I think what I'm looking at from them is you start Nurkic, Covington, Melo, McCollum, and Dame.
Okay, I get you.
Off the bench, you got Gary Trent.
Yeah.
I don't know, because Whiteside a free agent. I believe Whiteside a free agent.
Okay.
So they can possibly bring him back or not.
But they got Collins. What's my man Collins?
They got Collins, and they got the other guy, the other young dude who got a little burn against the Lakers. I cannot think.
The dark skinned dude. I know you're talking about.
But he's. I feel like you start here's my thing right now.
Okay.
I just want to know what goes into the development of players, because I'm in the mindset that how can a player develop if he's not playing? Because what you see in practice, I get it. Like, oh, yeah. But getting game time experience to really fully understand, because in practice, y'all going hard, but you know the sets that's being ran.
Right.
So how can I really see what kind of mistakes you're going to make? Are you really built for these moments? If you never play? You feel me? When I'm looking at you, certain teams is drafting guys and then not playing guys that they drafted. Like, so why did you draft them? Or what is your developmental process going on to where they're not becoming better faster? And so players got to play, man. Like, we drafting these kids and they not getting no tick.
Here's my thing, but are you referring to Covington or who are you referring to?
No, I was just talking about overall.
Okay.
This is an overall, like, my scope and how I'm looking at things. It's like the top 5 guys get thrust into the situation they got to play. Then you go 16 through 30 or 6 through 30. It's like, yeah, they may play a little bit, then they be on the bench, and then, and I'm looking at, like, you went through all this scouting and development, spitting this draft pick to bring this guy, this young kid in, and all this kind of stuff. Then he gets to your team, and it's like, nah, you gonna learn right here, young fella. And I'm a firm believer you got to throw people in the fire, because if I got you sitting here for 2 years not playing, how am I supposed to know what kind of investment I really got? I done wasted a whole first round pick to have you sitting for 2 years healthy.
I think just like with any sports, it's very political. It's like college. You get these top running backs that don't even see the field till their 3rd year. Or whatever.
I wouldn't win.
That's usually how it is. And so it's very political. I just think it's like an investment piece. It's like you may not play, but in the long haul, you can become an investment later. But as of right now, we're just going to hold you off until we feel like it's time to get you some more valuable time on the court.
And you know what you create?
What?
You create the player that become about the bag. There's no more work ethic. There's no more nothing. He just like, oh, I ain't playing, so I'm going to collect the check, because NBA money guaranteed, pimp. So, but I'm just saying, you can create that mindset. It don't happen for everybody.
Right.
But if I become so think about this. I'm a high draft pick. So that means my pay scale a little different than people that's not a high draft pick.
Right.
So I'm just over here collecting checks. Why would I need to put in more work if I'm just collecting checks anyway?
Because you got to think about it, because just because you're a high draft pick, you're coming from college or maybe from overseas. And these dudes that's playing right now, they've been in the NBA already. So they've been playing. So they've been battle tested, right? And so, yes, you're a high draft pick, but just because you did it in college don't necessarily is going to be the same in the pros. You get what I'm saying? And so what I think the issue is with a lot of these players, it's entitlement. Just because I'm higher draft pick, I should be playing. Yeah, I get that. You should be playing. You should be getting more minutes, but it depends on what team that drafts you. It's what teams it's a team needs. Do they need you out there? Do they already have a squad? Are you, like, for example, if I'm a draft, let's say, for example, I'm the number 2 draft pick, and let's say the Warriors, hypothetically, they had a trade and they end up getting the number 1 pick the following year, and they end up winning a championship, correct? Then the next year, coming draft, they got the number 2 pick. They can trade it or they can keep it. Let's say they keep it. They draft me at number 2. That does, just because I'm drafting at number 2 don't mean I'm going to be playing. This team.
You just described Darko Milicic. When in 03, when the Pistons had just won, and then they drafted, or 04, 03. Pistons just won, then they drafted Darko Milicic, because that was the LeBron, Melo, Bosh, and them year. Just won a ship, and then they draft Darko Milicic. And then he really doesn't play at all. Never seen the court. And so, like, in that situation, I can understand that. Because we just came off a ship. For the most part, everybody come back. I can kind of wait my turn. But in other situations, it's like, y'all sucked. This is the reason why we drafted so high to bring me in. So if the dudes who are quote-unquote battle-tested is so damn good, then why the hell are we in the lottery picking me?
You know, it's a good question. Again, I think they got other things to help players develop, like the G League. There's a lot of draft picks you don't see them because they're in the G League and they're developing. They're not there yet. And we may think it's easy to translate the game from college to the hoops just because you're a high draft pick, and that's not always the case. Sometimes you don't play because they see you may have holes in your game that they haven't noticed, and then they realize, oh, you're really not that good at that, or you really can't go this way, or you're not a good shooter. So we got to develop you. We got to get you right. So once we get you right, you can get out there on the court. And then it just goes based off team needs. But speaking of drafts.
Yes, sir.
The draft is tomorrow.
It is.
It's tomorrow.
Facts.
But before we get into that, I almost forgot. We got 2 players.
2.
That's in Houston.
Ooh.
That don't want to be there no more.
I mean, James Harden on his IG, I follow my guy. We went to high school. Shout out AI. He took off a bottle top cap. They kind of let it spin, insinuating that what's going on is big capping. But he also, on the flip side, turned down the chance to be the first ever $50 million paid athlete. Yeah. So which one is it, James? I wish I had his number. I'd just call him and we could talk.
Probably won't even pick up.
Probably wouldn't pick up. But if I had his number, then that means he should pick up because not everybody got the number. So I feel like if I had the number,
he
my
would
man could pick up.
Like, I don't know who the hell.
I should reach out to see if I can get him on the show. That's what I need to do. We can ask these boys on the show.
How do you feel about that though? 1 minute they got the nucleus. Oh, the Rockets gonna be a problem. Oh, everybody better watch out for Russ and James Harden. Next minute, it's about to blow up. James Harden supposedly want to go to Brooklyn. Russ want to be anywhere else but Houston. What do you got to say about that, man?
I just think certain things run its course. But if we just being honest, they have done everything to try to accommodate for James. And we just got to be honest, man. I love James Harden. That's my guy somewhat. And I just feel like they've done everything to help. They've done everything. They've traded the Rockets, since James Harden has been a Rocket, have had more trades than any other NBA team. So you can't say they're not trying. You can't say that they haven't been trying. Everything ain't necessarily worked out. But it's been Dwight Howard, Patrick Beverly, Trevor Ariza for the 3rd time, Eric Gordon. They traded Capella. They brought in Covington. You got Rivers, PJ Tucker. The list of litany of names can go on and on and on and on of what they have tried to do to help this situation out. But when you think about it, they've had some major flameouts. For example, losing to the Spurs without Kawhi. That ain't a good look. Missing 25 consecutive threes against the Warriors. That ain't a good look. Going small when the NBA is still pretty big. That ain't a good look. So it's like, as James Harden, you putting up astronomical numbers.
Right.
Dribble, dribble. I think he's still dribbling.
He's dribbling.
He's still dribbling. Right now, as I'm saying a sentence.
Right now.
Still got the ball.
He's still trying to dribble out of Houston.
And that's what I'm saying. You placate into this system. The system works when you scoring 36, averaging 9 assists, and look good. But then you looking at your team, because then in the playoffs, James goes from averaging 36 to averaging 29. And then you're asking for help. But you was averaging 36, Pimp. Why you ain't? Help means you doing your part and they not doing theirs. But if you're not doing your part, how can I ask for help? Because maybe the help is doing their part, but you ain't covering your spread. And then with Russ, I think he got to Houston and realized, being homies, man, it ain't always cracked up what it seemed to be. But I'm going to let you know now, sources in the NBA streets are saying we looking at Russ to Charlotte.
Wow.
With Jordan and the Jordan brand. Because you know Russ is a part of the Jordan brand. So we're looking at Russ.
It's gonna be, if he goes Charlotte, he's just gonna be trying to get a bag. That's just it.
Well, he already got his bag. He'll just be in Charlotte.
He like playing
Charlotte.
Yeah, he's getting bread. Or whatever the case.
A lot of good people in Charlotte too, I've heard.
There's nothing wrong with Charlotte. Just ain't not gonna be competing for nothing. He's gonna be tripling, doubling. Okay,
OKC 2.2. And
I don't even think you can call it a 2.2. I think that OKC didn't make it to the theaters, putting it on Netflix for a little bit.
Oh, see, I feel like Netflix will get back. It's more like a Peacock situation.
Oh, Peacock. Yeah, Peacock. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's rough in Houston right now. It ain't turned up in Houston no more, and ain't nobody cooking. It's a lot of stuff. We gonna follow it. As soon as something happened, they're saying it's something's close to getting done. So we're gonna see, man, if they're going to allow this trade to happen.
H to Brooklyn, possibly.
Yeah, and that makes me wonder: James Harden, a one guy, and we'll get into that another episode. I like the man game, but is he a one guy? Is he a one guy, or is he showing that he's maybe a 2 or a 3?
Ooh, you said.
I like James. It's no disrespect to James.
That's a great question.
Some people just not great at being the one guy. Maybe they can be a great 2 guy or a 3 guy. James Harden put up a lot of numbers, and they did well. But when it mattered the most, he always tended to drop the ball. And I like James. He dropped the ball a few times. He damn near could have got eliminated in the first round or whatever the case may be. But that's here nor there. We'll follow it as it comes by and as it goes because we don't know. It's all speculation right now. But when it becomes actual news, we definitely will be talking about it. But like I said, tomorrow's the draft, man. How do you feel about the draft? I don't want to go too in depth on where everybody going. Let's just focus on the most important draft. Pick. The most important pick. Who's going number 1?
If the Minnesota Timberwolves are serious about winning, they take Anthony Edwards and just let life be life. You got D'Lo, you got Anthony Edwards, you got Cat. And you feel like the rest, all that stuff in. Don't be the guy to go get Lamelo, because then you become a defensive, non-existent team, and you hope y'all can run and gun. The West is too loaded for you to be one-sided. Just being honest. And then you waiting on the development of Lamelo to see what he's really going to do. I think Anthony Edwards' development, he has a little bit of that D Wade in him. But he gonna give you what you need now. And that's when you let Russell become a point guard. D'Angelo Russell is not a 2. He can score, but he's not a 2. He's a point guard, man. People need to let D'Angelo Russell be the point guard. And then Cat, as we've talked about, when we talked about the Timberwolves, Cat has to become that guy. We can no longer look at Cat as just a piece. He has to become that guy. Take Anthony Edwards, move on with your life, and you'll be okay. You sit here, you take Wiseman. Now you trying to do the 2 big situation. That ain't going to work. You take Melo. Now you do the 2 point guard situation. That ain't going to work. Take the traditional 2 and then go from there.
That's good points. Good points. Who's going number 1? In my opinion, it's out of 2 people. I don't think Wiseman's going to go number 1. Because I don't know if they want to have 2 bigs on the floor at the same time. I don't know if that's the direction that the Wolves want to go, especially with the way the league is going, having 2 bigs at the same time, unless you're the Lakers. It could work for you, could not work for you. It depends. But I don't think he's going number 1. I think it's out of 2 players. You have great points when it came to Anthony Edwards being a more all-around athlete. He has the body stature. He doesn't have the height, though. He's only 6'3". And D'Angelo Russell, I believe D'Angelo Russell 6'5".
He's 6'4"-ish.
6'4", 6'5". And so I really think it just depends on the team and what direction they want to go in. LaMelo Ball is something you can't teach. This is what they tell you in high school in every sports, you can't teach speed and you can't teach height. You can't teach it. You can't teach it. You can teach skill. You can always get better. You can always improve, but you can't teach these things. It's either you're tall or you're not. It's either you're fast or you're not. And looking at the draft when it comes to the strength, this is what they say about these two guys. I'm gonna make my decision at the end of this this discussion or whatever. They say Melo, his strength, elite size for a point guard. He's 6'7", controls the game from unique vantage points and impressive creatively, and he has a great flair to his game. Throws 90-footer outlets. Let's just say he got vision. Put it that way. He has a chance to adequate defendant, like to become a better defender because his size. You can't teach 6'7". You can't teach it. And then he won't turn 19 until after the draft. So he's still young. So he may even get taller. The man may even get a couple of inches taller, right? Here's some of the things he got to improve on. He struggles to score efficiently through his career, right? He shot 46% from 2, 25% from 3. Okay. He lacks a degree of high-end explosiveness, creating offense from a standstill and beating opponents off the dribble. So he doesn't have the ability to beat them off the dribble. That's what they're saying. And indifferent defenders for much of his career still reverts back to frequently, especially off the ball, struggles to get over screens. So that comes with strength. You don't have the strength right now to get over screens, fight over screens, and do all that. The man's only 18 years old. All right? 18 years old. Now, we're looking at my man, A. Edwards. Powerful guard with elite length and explosiveness. The man is very explosive. Tough to contain, especially in transition. Strong first step and bouncy off 1 or 2 feet in space. Embraces contact in the paint. 3-level score. Right? We know that on 2K, you're a 3-level scorer. You dominate out there. Strength, length, and quickness to be a lockdown defender who can check 3 positions at the NBA level. Okay? Improvement areas. Still learning how to play both ends. Decision-making is a work in progress. Tend to settle for contested jumpers rather than using his physicality to get all the way to the rim.
DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah, to a degree. Streaky perimeter shooter, undisciplined defender who isn't always edge. Motor and intensity on that end fluctuates, completely upright in his stance. All right. Star scoring guard, but for Melo, he's a franchise point guard. This is what they say about these two different individuals. I really believe it's out of these two different individuals and which direction they want to go. I would be shocked if somebody else get picked up. But this is where I'm going to go with. If you want Russell to be the point guard, then you go Anthony Edwards. If you want Russ to be the 2 guard, then you go Lamelo Ball. Simple as that. Whichever direction the Minnesota Timberwolves want to go into, those are the only 2 questions they got to ask themselves. Which direction you want to go? Do you want a facilitator or do you want a scorer? In my opinion, this is the only Achilles heel that I'm gonna have with A. Edwards is he's a guard body build playing the 2, and that may not be sufficient and suffice when you're playing against higher and longer wings. That's just what it is. If he would have been 6'5", he's going first pick. He's going first pick, 6'5", 6'6". Anthony Edwards is the number 1 pick going out of the draft, hands down. But he's 6'3". He's 6'3". So, yes, he reminds me of a potential person that can be he's going to be athletic as what?
What I'm looking at, he got him listed as 6'5".
No, right? No, he's not 6'5".
According to sportsreference.com.
No, this is ESPN and NBA draft at NBA.com. He's 6'3". I'm going with the logistics. I'm not going with sports something. I'm going with ESPN.
So time out. Now we got to differentiate. It's 6'3", and then it's shoes. What is his playing height? Because you could be 6'3", but when you put on shoes, you gain an inch or two.
All right, here you go with the cheeseburgers. So again, if he gains an inch, then that means everybody else gains an inch too. Reasons? He's still gonna be small.
Nah. Most of the people get listed. Most of the people are listed at their playing height, not at their non-playing height.
So if he listed at his playing height, he's 6'3", so that means he's only 6'2".
No, but I'm looking at different lists that have shown me he's 6'5".
The man is 6'3". Right. This is coming from the NBA. This is
I'm looking at. I just looked at the NBA profile right now. They got him listed as 6'3".
Exactly.
What is the combine? I need the combine. I need the combine.
He's 6'3".
Yeah, listen.
He is 6'3", bro. They measured him.
But he's okay. So remember you said about Lamelo, right? Anthony Edwards got some room to grow. He may get another inch or two.
Possibly.
Like I said, I'm not knocking what you thinking. I just think the Timberwolves just need to be smart. When I look at a guy like Anthony Edwards, it reminds me of a Dwayne Wade. It reminds me of a Donovan Mitchell.
That's who I see. I don't necessarily see D Wade to a degree. I see Donovan Mitchell.
And Donovan Mitchell can get buckets and holds his own in NBA at the 2.
But he struggles when he plays against taller wings.
But a lot of people struggle when they play against taller wings. If the knock on Lamelo is he can't create off the dribble, him just being tall just means he's just tall. Because he doesn't have the explosiveness and the wiggle that you would get out of like a Dame Lillard or a Kyrie or a Steph. That's going, you or your hate at. You being a smaller guard gives you that stop and go that the bigger guards don't get. LaMelo is not, he's 6'7", but we're not looking at 6'7", him being a Penny Hardaway. Because Penny Hardaway that's a rare, Penny was 6'7".
He's only 18, bro.
It was nasty.
I feel you. He's only 18.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I feel like
he's out of them too, though. I feel
like Melo has to go somewhere where he can work on really being a guard because they're gonna be asking him to have to guard somebody.
Right.
He needs to go somewhere where he's the one and they got a bunch of defenders.
I think with Anthony Edwards, if he develop a shot, he can be a problem. He's got the NBA body. He does.
6'10" wingspan.
He got the NBA body. He has the explosiveness. He can hoop. I'm not knocking the brother. It just depends on what Minnesota want to go. If they want to score, then they go Russ at the 1, him at the 2. If they want a point guard, then they go Melo. That's what I'm saying. If they want a point guard, they go Melo. If they want to score, they go Anthony. Anthony can get you buckets. He's a problem. He go out there and do his thing, and he could give you. He could do his thing. The boy is a problem. I think he's definitely got to improve on his perimeter because in the NBA, this is when they make your holes in your game become very visible.
Ooh, expose them.
If you can't shoot,
he with us,
and you can only get to the rim, they're going to let you shoot. We see it time and time again, and so. Edwards going to have a consistent jumper because that's the difference between the Donovan Mitchells and the Murrays. They're not the tallest, but they can shoot. They got a clip. You can't leave them open because they will make you pay. And then when they can shoot, boom. Damian Lillard, can't leave them open. They'll make you pay. So then that makes them damn near unguardable. So Edwards, he has the best NBA stature as of right now. He's the most NBA ready. Put it that way. The most NBA ready coming out of the draft, in my opinion.
I can agree with that.
That's what I'm going with. So it's either, I would say, if I have to choose, because I know people were like, well, Bake, you didn't choose one. Okay. I'm going to go Lamelo. I'm going to go Lamelo. I say Lamelo goes first to the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Okay.
That's who I go. And if Lamelo goes first, then I think Anthony Edwards goes third. I don't think he's going to the Warriors next.
I could believe that because I feel like the Warriors should overthink this and just take Wiseman. You have your young big that you can build around with Draymond, and your starting five should be Wiseman, Draymond, Wiggins, Clay, Steph. And I feel like Draymond's leadership ability will help Wiseman's curve in learning how to play defense and be that guy for them.
Yeah.
And again, to me, that puts the Warriors. I have the Warriors as a top 4 team in the West anyway. With Wiseman, they still a top 4, but I just feel like you know how it is. 1 or 2 games can separate it to where you could be number 2, but you only like a game, you know. So I feel like 1 through 4 in the West is going to be like this. It's going to be like a 2 or 3 game separation from who was 1 and who was 4.
Right. I don't think don't be surprised if the Warriors don't get Wiseman. They got that boy from Israel who's 6'9", who can dribble and he can pull that thing up and go crazy.
Like I said, I just think
don't be surprised. It all depends on the direction of the team and where they want to go. But my man from Israel, what's his name again? Denny. He can play like a point guard. He can put it on the floor. He's not going to be an Anthony Davis, but he could be a hybrid. Shoot, Luka Doncic is opening the door for a lot of international players. But what they see Luka doing, they like, what Luka do? I need somebody like you. I'm not like, look, Dirk was a problem. Like every blue moon, you get one of those specimens. I think more and more, the better these international players start to play in the NBA, the more likely they'll be more open to picking those players up. But we're going to find out tomorrow, okay? Is it going to be Anthony Edwards? Is it going to be Lamelo? Could it be somebody we totally didn't think was going number 1? Y'all let us know in the comments below. I can't wait to see as these trades open up Friday. So we're going to see how things play out and how things go. What you want to say before we get out of here, Reese?
Hey, man, it's lit. By the time we come back next show, man, I'm going to have a bold prediction that James Harden will be traded to Brooklyn. The Lakers going to do some splash things over the weekend at the free agency. And it's going to be a move that happens that nobody was talking about by the time we back on the show. Kind of like the Paul George to the Clippers out of nowhere kind of move. I don't know where it's going to come from, but it's going to be something that's going to kind of be like, ooh, that happened? By the time we back on the show.
All right, we're going to find out.
Those are my predictions.
Y'all let us know in the comments below, how do y'all feel about the draft? Who's going number 1? And will these trades help the teams out, or will it be the same result, ending and getting eliminated in the playoff? We're going to find out. We love y'all. Always remember to talk that talk. We see y'all soon. Very, very soon.